So, will the Kansas City Chiefs be firing on all cylinders as they go to Baltimore? Should the 49ers be on upset alert against the Lions this Sunday? And who do we think are going to take home the major awards for the upcoming NFL honors that's coming up pretty soon? Well, we're going to give you the answers to those questions and many more as we get you ready for Conference Championship Sunday. We're just almost 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. There's only one more hurdle to take on, and we will take on that hurdle tonight here on Fantasy Football Fever, which starts right out now. And a pleasant hello to everyone. Welcome to Fantasy Football Fever. It is Friday, January 26, 2024. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, and however you may be watching, thanks for making this part of your week. My name, of course, is Tim McClellan. Over here, of course, is our Fantasy League Commissioner, Mr. John Natale. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thank you.
Always great to have you here. And of course, once again, walking the streets of the Big Apple is our man, the man with the plan, the main brain of sports, the host of Hooked on Sports, Mr. John Flynn.
Hey, guys! And more good news because during the season, I would always have to worry about my phone battery health, but in terms of because my phone battery tends to drain when we're doing this, but I have my portable charger this time, so hopefully I don't think we're gonna have any problems with me getting cut off. So, but Championship Sunday's upon us. Let's go, Timmy.
All right, let's go. By the way, how's the weather up there?
Yes, yeah, it was like 45. It's actually a little foggy outside. I don't know if you can tell it's a little bit foggy out.
Hmm. Yeah, we've been getting lots and lots of rain this past week. How's the weather? Are you been, Natalie?
Yeah, it finally warmed up a bit. It actually reached, I think, 49 today.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Well, it's great to have you guys with me, of course, and great to have you all watching. And we also have Daniel Berry watching. How you doing, Daniel? Thanks for watching. Sit back, relax, make yourself comfortable because we have a lot to get to right now. We're going to go ahead and go straight into our hot topics here. And we are going to begin with a recap of last week's divisional round, starting with Bills, the Bills and the Chiefs. Chiefs kind of put it on late in the game. Second half was pretty good. So the Chiefs upend the Bills to take their sixth straight trip to the conference championships. So looking back on this here, let's take a look at the Bills' future. I mean, I still believe that the Bills are right now the best team in the AFC East. However, Miami, of course, will have an issue with that. Uh, I don't know much about the Jets. Of course, the Patriots. Patriots ended up going 4-13 this past year. So let's talk about the Bills' future. Flynn, what do you see with the Bills going forward?
I I personally would have fired Sean McDermott after this year because it's what was one of the big reasons. I think the reason why we all picked the Chiefs was because the biggest year bud of the 2023 Buffalo Bills was the same as the biggest year bud of the 2022 Buffalo Bills, and was the biggest year bud of the 2021 Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott in game management and if you look at how the Bills have played this year, regardless of the in-game management, with Josh Allen, who had an MVP caliber season, and would have been voted MVP if the Bills were the one seed instead of Baltimore, but it was just all these games that the Bills gave away because of Sean McDermott's boneheaded decision making. Like like the game against the Jets week 1 where losing to Zach Wilson, losing at the end to the Patriots and Mac Jones, losing a game to the Eagles where Sean McDermott the timeout, allowing the Eagles and Jake Elliott to set up their field goal team for a 59-yard field goal, which Elliott made and sent that game to overtime. And just the string of Miami losses keeps on going. And then we come to Kansas City, where Patrick Mahomes plays his first real playoff game, his first game of Buffalo in front of Bills Mafia, happens to be in the playoffs. So Patrick Mahomes puts on another Hall of Fame performance, and on a 4th and 5, Sean McDermott decides to run a fake punt in his own territory with DeMar Hamlin taking the snap. What else can you do? I mean, then also the sequence at the end, the last set of downs where the Bills got it down inside the Kansas City 30-yard line, and they were only able to get 1 yard, and then Tyler Bass shanks the game time field goal wide right. Which kind of sums up all that, and then also Stephon Diggs, who remember we made a big deal about Stephon Diggs during the summer when he was excused from mandatory minicamp practice, and I don't know why. And in the biggest game of the season, 3 catches for 21 yards on 8 targets, including a drop on what would have been a 60-yard completion that would have set up first down in Chiefs territory on the drive before that. So I think Stephon Diggs has played his last game as a Bill. His ego has gotten out of the way, and Gabe Davis is a free agent at the end of the season, I think. So I think the Bills are going to be going in a completely different direction in terms of their personnel offensively.
And you see my little comment right there, hashtag Sean Bonehead.
You
Yeah.
can do it. You can do it, Johnny. You can do
really
it.
managed the game like a
You
bonehead.
can do it, Johnny. You can do it.
So Natale, anything you want to add to this?
I mean, I think the Bills always seem to like choke when it matters most, and every time they get a lead, they're always blowing it every time. I will give credit to one notable name. He had a very solid rookie season, Dalton Kincaid. He did phenomenal for them, especially when he filled in for Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Those are a pretty good duo if both of them stay healthy. But I think their defense needs a little bit of work because they're cursed with injuries. But
Right.
other than that, I think they'll be okay down the road. They just need some pieces.
Yeah, and also speaking of those injuries, and what did I say about Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce? Travis Kelce had 5 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. He hadn't caught a single touchdown since before Thanksgiving, and he has 2 of them in a road playoff game. And then Rashee Rice, 4 catches for 47 yards. 3 of his 4 catches resulted in first downs, and he drew a pass interference penalty on a 3rd and 4 in the 4th quarter. So those 2 guys, when they needed to step up, did so. And then Isaiah Pacheco did a good job running the football. He will be questionable headed into Championship Sunday for Kansas City, but what good teams do is take advantage of the other's mistakes, and that's exactly what Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, to the Kansas City Chiefs did. With an inferior roster, 1 through 53, mind you, to beat the Buffalo Bills in a road playoff game.
Okay.
What
should I do?
So I heard you mention that this might be the final season that Stephon Diggs will be with the Bills. If I gave y'all a percentage, what percentage of likelihood would it be that Stefan Diggs could join his younger brother Trayvon Diggs?
I mean, I don't see it happening, Timmy.
No chance, huh? Well, I mean, of course, his brother Trayvon said, "Get Stefan out of Buffalo, come to Dallas," but yeah, it seems a little bit far fetched. I mean, the idea would sound great, but I mean, you'd have to fork over a lot of money, and of course, Cowboys do have a lot of free agents they have to deal with this year, including Tony Pollard and Stephon Gilmore. But yeah, it looks like the Bills may be going in a different direction, and watch out, Miami could be champions of that division next year. Anyway, let's talk about the Ravens just dominated their opponents this past Sunday, and I think I might be kind of getting ahead of myself on this, but I'm definitely thinking Lamar Jackson's pretty much wrapped up league MVP. So, Flynn, how about them Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd like to point out that I was the only one of the three of us that picked the Ravens to win and the Ravens to cover. Thank you very much for letting me pick up a game at the standings on that one. So that's number one. Number two, look, the difference between the Ravens from a few years ago to this year, what was the difference in the offensive coordinator making halftime adjustments. And Greg Moment would do the same thing over and over again for 4 years. Run Lamar Jackson on a lot of different routes and a lot of different run plays featuring the quarterback. And then what Todd Monken has done and what the Ravens did is find a passing game for him with Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely and Odell Beckham Jr. All being just to sign with the team over the last couple of years, and the halftime adjustments had the Ravens just using their physical strength of their offensive line to just wear down the Texans at will. So it was a physical game, and once the Ravens wore down the Texans enough, then they were able to put up a lot of points. They outgained the Texans 234-68 in the second half and outscored them 24-0. And they did not allow a single offensive touchdown in that game. Their one touchdown was a punt return for a touchdown.
Okay. Natale, anything you want to add about the Ravens?
Oh yeah, they definitely exceeded expectations this season. I thought they had almost no chance of making the playoffs. And yeah, I definitely dropped the ball when I said Lamar Jackson was due for a fluke year, but the complete opposite happened. I think I remember putting him at, like when the season started, I thought he was going to be like the bust candidate of the season, but he definitely played beyond expectations, and I think he is all but sealed MVP.
Yeah, remember it's a regular season award, so the voters voted before the playoffs started.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta remind myself of that is during the season here. Anyway, we gotta talk about those Detroit Lions. Flynn, what about them Lions? What'd you say?
Yeah, I think because I knew that was the one game that I was a little iffy on in terms of the spread, but I knew the Lions were going to win either way. But the ambiance in Detroit, the story, Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, it was real and spectacular, and I really enjoyed how they played, and they played a Bucks team that was coming in with a lot of confidence, and then they just kept executing at a high level, and that's how the Lions were able to make it to Championship Sunday.
All right, Natale, what
Oh,
about
yeah.
those lines?
Yeah, I definitely love this direction they've gone in. They were a real dark horse this season. Yeah, we all definitely picked them to win the division. That happened, but to go this far is truly remarkable. This is their first NFC Championship since 1991. And can you imagine how wild Detroit will be if they win? Could they win this? Because yeah, they definitely need something to look forward to right now. Considering one Detroit team has been really bad, I think, in recent weeks. Look at the a little bit off topic, but yeah, the Detroit Pistons, they had that, I think, 26-27 game losing streak.
Right.
So if the Lions win this game, I think that that whole basketball thing will be a thing of the past and be completely forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with the with the 60 plus years of Lions football without going to the Super Bowl, and like the ghost of 1957 and the Lions their last road playoff win was in December of 1957 in a playoff game against the 49ers in San Francisco, and that's where the Lions will be about dozens of miles south of there on Championship Sunday. So I think the Lions have gone the longest without winning a road playoff game. So
right.
Tell you what, if the Lions can pull off the upset, I mean that place is gonna go ape shit. I tell you what, and I feel really happy for those people over in Motown, and I feel especially happy for my uncle Roland Adams, who just happens to be a diehard Lions fan. So I'm happy for him, happy for all the Lions fans. And what about those San Francisco 49ers? I mean, they went up against a very tough Green Bay team, but they were able to pull it out 24-21. So San Francisco still showing why they were the best team in the whole league, Flynn.
Yeah, they did not play their best. Brock Purdy felt limited after Deebo Samuel got hurt in the first quarter, but when the 49ers had the opportunity to go down the field and win the game, which happened with the opportunity that was created as a result of the missed field goal by Anders Carlson, who I think missed 13 kicks this year. Is that when that opportunity arose, Brock Purdy went down and put together like a 12-play, 69-yard drive, took up 5 minutes of the clock, and it was just a thing of beauty. They mixed up the play calling in the fourth quarter, wrote on Christian McCaffrey a lot more that they were supposed to do early on, because I think 3/4 Christian McCaffrey had just 11 carries. But they relied on him in the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, and McCaffrey rode the 49ers to Championship Sunday for the third consecutive year.
Yeah, definitely. He is definitely no longer Mr. Irrelevant right here. Natalia, your thoughts on those Niners?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, I mean, there's really no surprise with the 49ers. Yeah, they're definitely pretty much favored to go all the way. And yeah, Brock Purdy, he's a potential MVP candidate. Yeah, well, when have you heard the words Mr. Irrelevant and MVP being used in the same sentence?
I said never, and Brock Purdy wound up being one of the 5 finalists for league MVP, which was announced by the league yesterday.
Yeah, can you imagine that? He's if should he win, he'll be the very first Mr. Irrelevant to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time for Purdy this past Sunday. Went 23 of 39 for 252 yards and 1 touchdown. McCaffrey backed him up with 17 carries for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. And George Kittle, he wasn't too loud. He only got 4 receptions for 81 yards, but he did manage to score a touchdown in that one right there.
Yeah. So, do you have Ayuk and Juwan Jennings stats? Because I think Juwan Jennings made a couple of incredible catches. I think in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking back at the preview here. Jawan Jennings, 5 receptions for 61 yards. He was targeted 6 times. Brandon Ayuk was kind of quiet. He was targeted 6 times, but he got 3 catches for 32 yards.
Yeah.
And another great receiver they have, Debo Samuel. He was only targeted twice, but he got both of those and earned 24 receiving yards for that.
Yeah, but remember, Debo left the game in the first quarter because of that shoulder injury. So that's why we got two. But yeah, he is off the injury report, and he's going to play on a championship Sunday. Which, but for a quarterback like Brock Purdy, which let's be real here. If Brock Purdy had an average receiver group or back in receiver group, I don't think we'd be talking about Brock Purdy in the same light. But because we're talking about the first team All Pro running back, the first team All Pro tight end, and two outstanding wide receivers who would be two of the top 20 receivers in the league, and an offensive line that anchored by the best left tackle in pro football. That's why we're having a completely different conversation about Brock Purdy.
Yeah, so that's basically our recap of the divisional round from this Sunday. Another big topic to discuss. We had some more coaching spaces filled this past week. Of course, the biggest one of all, Jim Harbaugh, who just recently coached the Michigan Wolverines to a national championship, was selected as the new head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. After having a couple of interviews with Bill Belichick, it seems that the Falcons have decided to hire Raheem Morris, who was the former head coach for the Buccaneers and former defensive coordinator for the Rams. Then the Carolina Panthers got their new man, Dave Canales, who was the former offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. And the Tennessee Titans have hired former Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan as their new head coach. Now, of course, the bright star here is, of course, Jim Harbaugh.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
what's going to be really interesting is if they play the Ravens next season, the brothers facing off. I'm not sure if they're playing each other yet.
Yes, they are.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in LA, but it's because the division rotation cycle has the AFC North playing the AFC West. So that means the Ravens will be playing everyone in that division. I think they play at the Chargers and they play at the Chiefs, and then they'll host the Broncos and the Raiders.
All right. So obviously, Jim Harbaugh, of course, is probably the biggest catch of this rotation of coaching right now. Raheem Morris for the Falcons, Dave Canales for the Panthers, Brian Callahan for the Titans. Flynn, what do you make of all this?
Jim, I kind of dig all of the hires. I mean, look. Obviously, it would have been nice for Tennessee to figure things out with Mike Vrabel, but I think they felt so focused with the present day that I think they forgot the in person about the future. But I don't think you can go wrong with an offensive coach, because I think the Titans were an offensively challenged team after AJ Brown was inexplicably dealt to Philadelphia on draft day 2022. But we'll see, because I think the Titans are going to be searching for, are either going to try and work things out with Will Levis, who I really liked in the draft process, and all that. I think he can be a star with the right coach and with the right system. So. And if that doesn't work out with him because he wasn't there when they drafted Will Levis, maybe they'll go find the next quarterback in the draft next year. But yeah, I don't think they could have gone wrong there. I'm very surprised though that the Carolina Panthers did that well with the head coaching hires because the Panthers also hired Dan Morgan, the Panthers assistant GM, to be their general manager, which probably meant that nobody outside the Panthers organization wanted to take that job and work for David Tepper. So I think that's a bad look for the organization. But Dave Canales saw an opportunity to become a head coach, and we'll see what we can do, what he can do with Bryce Young. Because I think what made Baker Mayfield so successful was that he made Baker Mayfield go quicker. And I feel like that's what Bryce Young needs to do as the quarterback because with that porous offensive line, when he was dropping back, he got sacked so much that he doesn't have enough time to make big throws and generate some confidence because I think that's one thing that Baker Mayfield really lacked last year under Frank Reich. So we'll see how he can do that. Now it's going to be tough for Bryce Young because I typically am not a fan of a rookie quarterback having to go into year number 2 with a completely different coach and a completely different system. But listen, no excuse for him. He was the #1 overall pick. So I thought that was the best possible candidate, and I think the Panthers did really well under the circumstance. But I think we got to talk about the Falcons also. Raheem Morris, who played at Hofstra out on Long Island, who's now the coach there. But now listen, I don't know if the Falcons are going to be a successful team with Raheem Morris. But I think you can appreciate a guy that gets a second chance because it was clear he was set up to fail by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he got back instead of going down. He got back up to work. So his Rams defenses have overperformed, especially this year where we thought the Rams defense was going to be really bad because Aaron Donald was basically the whole defense and all that. But he got a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys. And Kobe Turner is in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I think that's a testament to him. So you can't go wrong with Raheem Morris. And then Jim Harbaugh. I mean, all Jim Harbaugh does wherever he goes is win. And Jim Harbaugh has as compelling a track record of success as the head coach as any coaching candidate has had going to the NFL over the last 20 years. Yeah, he everywhere he's gone to, he's won. I mean, yeah, the 49ers, he turned that program from a dumpster fire after years of turmoil with having to deal for that franchise having to deal with the likes of Mike Nolan and Mike Singletary, the famous "I Want Winners" brand. Do we have that, Tim?
What's that?
Do we have the "I Want" the Mike Singletary presser from way back in the day?
The "I Want Winners." I don't have that one, but of course I've got this.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
I will have to look up the other one. I will have to look at.
It was in that same press conference. It was in that same rant. But I digress.
Yeah.
But Jim Harbaugh turned that around. He went to Michigan after Brady Hoke turned that program into a complete punchline. He turned that program around, and his one and only goal was to make Michigan a powerhouse in college football, and not just for the on the field product, but the marketing had significant boost. I believe the 3 highest rated TV broadcasts in college football this year all featured Michigan.
Right.
including the Rose Bowl against Bama, which was the game I look forward to since the moment they announced it. So that was incredible having that in prime time. It gave, I think, 27 million people watched it on average.
That's good numbers.
Yeah, and then the dominant performance against Washington and Michael Penix Jr. in the national championship game. And now he goes back to the NFL, and now it's one goal remaining to complete his career as a head coach is to win the Super Bowl as a head coach, and now he's going to get the chance to do that with a tremendous quarterback and even though the Chargers have a lot of cap issues, after next year the Chargers are going to be in great shape health wise when it comes to with their capabilities of signing free agents to long-term contract and signing your draft classes. So I think the Chargers are now in great shape. Now they'll still need to hire a general manager, and supposedly the two finalists are Giants assistant general manager Brandon Brown, who I think was an absolute gem, and has been as valuable to Joe Shane in the Giants front office as anybody. And as any assistant to front office exec to assistant to the general manager that the Giants have had in a while. And also Ravens director of player personnel Joe Ortiz is the other finalist. So whatever way the Chargers are going, they're going to get a tremendous general manager and a tremendous football mind. And Jim Harbaugh just makes that job that much more attractive to them.
Yeah, so those are the pot spots. There are still two teams that are still looking for a head coach. That, of course, would be the Washington Commanders and Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's anybody out there that could take one of those spots, then who could it be?
I think they might hire within, like people that already have a job might shift over to. Well, actually, no, never mind. Or maybe Arthur Smith might coach one of them.
I've been hearing Ben Johnson at the Lions offensive coordinator and a serious candidate for assistant coach of the year.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was that I feel like Washington's going to hire him, and then Seattle is going to have a great slew of candidates that they can hire from. And we'll see who their coaches. They probably might go for Dan Quinn because I think the familiarity and the Seahawks ties. But I think hiring Dan Quinn would be a mistake for Seattle at this point.
Yeah, of course. Me being a homer, loving my Cowboys, I sincerely hope that Dan Quinn will decide to stay with the Cowboys as their defensive coordinator for at least one more one more season. But of course, I digress on that.
Yeah, and speaking of coordinators, so here's something that I found interesting. That since the start of the 2022 season, every single team in the NFL has changed offensive coordinators. Every single one.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Amazing. But there is one big time coach that's not really gotten much attention, and that, of course, is the legendary Bill Belichick.
Mm.
He is still out there somewhere in the cosmos trying to see if he can get a job somewhere. Will he? And if he does, where could it be? I mean,
Natale feels like his time has passed, or am I thinking? Am I out of touch with that thinking?
Yeah. Time for him to wrap it up. He's already a Hall of Fame coach. Time to wrap it up. Call it a career. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. A suggestion I saw on Twitter was to was Bill Belichick being the defensive coordinator of the Giants, because that was the organization that So that sprung him into national prominence, and it landed him a head coaching job. Of course, Giants fans who remember Belichick as a DC remember his infamous game plan of the Super Bowl against Buffalo, where Belichick said they were only going to win if Thurman Thomas ran for 100 yards or more against the Giants that game, and Thurman Thomas would have been the Super Bowl MVP had Scott Norwood make that field goal. But a different fate happened, and Belichick won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants as their defensive coordinator, coaching up Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and Harry Carson and all those cats.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with Belichick. But if he doesn't coach anywhere ever again, I'm not going to complain about it because he has done his job. He did have a dynasty in New England. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He has done his job, and I congratulate him for that. So, yeah, I'm going to congratulate Bill Belichick on a very excellent career. Now, we're going to talk about something that's coming up. Wait a minute. There is one more hot topic I need to discuss.
Uh-huh.
And that is the Cowboys. And these
Of course you're bringing up the Cowboys.
Well, of course. And I think this is where Stephen A. Flynn is about to come in here. I mean, we got family members of players just bringing this team down. There's so much tension going on. I mean, what do you guys make of all this?
I haven't even seen those reports, but I wouldn't be surprised because Jerry Jones is in it for the money rather than winning, which has been the Cowboys for the last 30 years. Last time I checked.
Right. I mean, the reports was these tweets coming from family members like Tad Prescott, the brother of Dak, saying that he should just maybe go ahead and leave Dallas. CeeDee Lamb's mother says that Dak isn't quite the man. And we got Micah Parsons' brother saying that he should go ahead and leave Dallas. I mean, this has got to make Cowboys haters really intrigued, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I just had to bring that up because I just wanted to get your guys' opinions on this whole Dallas dilemma going on here.
I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, Jerry Jones should have left years ago.
Yeah. Like I keep saying, the moment he fired Jimmy Johnson, it all went down here from there. And now since then, just that one Super Bowl in these last 20-some years. So
yeah.
I just wanted to throw that in there to get you guys' opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now while we wait to get Flynn back online here, the NFL Honors is coming up.
I think it's February 8th.
Yes, it's not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, February 8th.
Mm-hmm.
February 8th is going to be the NFL Honors as we get Flynn back here. And that's going to be the night where the major awards is going to be handed out that evening. And the Pro Football Hall of Fame selections will be made that night. But we decided to make our own predictions as to who will probably get the major awards for the NFL Honors, according to the Associated Press. So if I'm not mistaken, I should have my screen. It should be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and you can also change the banner because I made a couple of banners before I left. today.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Here's our look for the AP NFL awards here. As we take a look at these things, we start with league MVP, and all three of us are unanimous. We believe that Action Jackson will take this one.
Yeah, best offensive player on the best team in football. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And Lamar, in big games, especially against the game against Miami, where he threw for 5 touchdowns in a game that pretty much decided who the number 1 seed was going to be in the AFC. That turned out to be an MVP performance. 321 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 158.3 passer rating. Enough said.
Well said, Natale.
Yeah, there's really nothing more to add. He was the clear choice. He's the only choice, really.
Yeah, so that's our pick for MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, Natale made a good pick with Tyreek Hill. Meanwhile, Flynn and myself believe that it's going to be Run CMC taking the award for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I knew for sure he was going to definitely get it, but I wanted to change. I wanted to try to make things slightly different. I already picked McCaffrey for something, so I wanted to pick somebody else for something. I kind of wanted to change it up, make things as different as possible. I gave McCaffrey my other award basically for the running back of the year or something. I wanted to try to make things a little bit different.
Right. Well, I mean, Tyreek Hill had a great year with the Dolphins, and
he almost broke a record.
Almost, he did. I mean, especially in that game when those Dolphins put up a 60 burger against I can't remember who it was.
The Broncos. I mean, that game wasn't just Tyreek Hill; it was Raheem Mostert and the first time any of us ever heard of Devon Achane's name. But it was everybody, and the Broncos were still settling into the new defense, and they just happened to run into a barnstormer in Dolphins.
Yeah, that was a real barnstormer there. Our selections for Defensive Player of the Year, Natale and I, we agree on taking T.J. Watt from the Steelers.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Flynn is selecting Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I feel like it's going. I feel like it was like a 3-horse race between him, T.J. Watt, and Micah Parsons all year. But I just think that the pressures and the sacks and longevity are why I'm giving the award to. If I had an AP vote, I would vote Myles Garrett for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, for me it was hard. It was hard to. I believe if I remember correctly, I think T.J. Watt was the sack leader this season. I basically based it off of that.
Yeah, and also the Browns' defense was exceptional this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they were very good. Tip of the hat to the Browns defensive coordinator and those guys right there for making that defense pretty good this year. TJ Watt, just like his brother JJ, he's rough, he's tough, he's an all-around great defensive player. Tip my hat to TJ Watt for the Steelers. We'll just see what happens. Now, we are all in agreement for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Is there any questions, CJ Stroud?
Yeah, very obvious. Yeah. There's really no clear-cut explanation for anybody else.
I mean, he was the best quarterback in his own division this year, and I think in a division that featured Trevor Lawrence, mind you, so
yeah. So looks like there may be some brighter days ahead for those Houston Texans as long as they got him taking the snaps. Each of us picked a different selection for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Natale is going with the Seattle's Devin Witherspoon. I, of course, am taking Joey Porter Jr. and John Flynn is taking Will Anderson from the Texans.
Yeah, and I think that I think the feel of the Texans defense changed when the Texans traded up and drafted the best defensive player in the draft this year, Will Anderson, who was a stud at Alabama. So, but he was big in terms of the sacks, in terms of making big time tackles. He was tremendous in coverage, as well. So I think all those factors, and I think Will Anderson is going to be the defensive rookie of the year. I mean the offensive rookie of the year group is a lot stronger than the defensive rookie of the year group, because I think you had Sam Laporta, you had Puka Nacua, you could pick from that would have been in the offensive rookie of the year front row discussion had the Texans not make the playoffs, but I feel like Will Anderson. So Tim, what makes you pick Joey Porter Jr.?
Probably his toughness, his physical ability. Just like his father when he played in the NFL, just rough and tough. Had a lot of opposing quarterbacks shaking in their knees, or shaking in their shoes. But I'll tip my hat to Witherspoon and for Anderson for your selections right there. All very good rookies, defensemen. Maybe or it could be someone else. I don't know. Comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and also, but I also want to hear the case that Devon Witherspoon made for Natale for defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. This one was kind of like one of those coin flip ones. There was a couple of names I was kind of playing with. One other name I was playing with. Tim's gonna love this one. Deron Bland. I was tempted to pick him, but I ended up picking Witherspoon.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a Deron Bland, of course.
Yeah,
Setting
I was thinking about those pick sixes, but I think what Witherspoon was basically him and Bobby Wagner. I think they worked well together, and I remember that. I think he made a pick six that kind of stood out to me.
I was an eyewitness to that, and ironically enough, that's when that was the moment Giants Twitters all said Daniel Jones was not the answer. That very moment, I knew that the Giants did not have their next Super Bowl winning quarterback on their roster.
Yeah, so this is more of like a coin flip for me. So I kind of just picked the first defensive player I thought of. I remember him being highly drafted, so I kind of just went with a coin flip and picked this guy.
Yes. So it also looks like comeback player of the year. Both of you picked Joe Flacco, so I want to hear Timmy's explanation for his.
I mean, after they decided to bring Flacco in as a starter, Cleveland's offense was looking a little bit better. So maybe next year, if Flacco decides to come back, they could contend again. I see Cincinnati kind of in a slight downswing. I could probably see Pittsburgh maybe get a little bit better. Baltimore is probably right now still the best team in that division, although not by much. So, I'm taking Flacco. I almost selected DeMar Hamlin. I almost selected him, but he didn't really get much playing time. But I do want to tip my hat for him for like the biggest comeback from that tragedy that took place last year. I mean, gosh, that was like a life-threatening situation, but glad to see. But I'm so happy that he came back and was able to play when he did, although he didn't play much, but he did. But I kind of put Flacco as my choice for comeback player of the year, as well as Natale.
Yeah, basically a follow-up of what you said. I wanted to pick him, but in my view, in order to win comeback player of the year, you have to do the physical act of playing. Flacco had a lot more playing time, and all that time he spent on the practice squad, all those years of being cut by teams. Yeah, he proved everybody wrong. He defied the odds. He shows that he still has a lot left in the tank.
So let's hear what Flynn said when he decided he was going to make Baker Mayfield comeback player of the year. Have we lost Flynn? I think we may have. Well.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there he is. All right.
Yeah.
Flynn, you got Baker Mayfield as your comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I too had Damar Hamlin as my number 2 choice for the comeback player of the year. But I think it boiled down to this. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL draft, and I argued at the time that Baker Mayfield was the 4th best quarterback in his own draft class, behind Darnold, Rosen, and behind Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. But I think the what Baker Mayfield had to go through last year, being set up to fail in Carolina, getting run out of town by Carolina, and then he gained a little confidence from Sean McVay and the Rams last year. Down the stretch, you remember that incredible comeback the Rams had against the Raiders on the Thursday night game in December. But he gained a little bit of momentum there, and then he knew he had a chance to prove himself, because if he didn't succeed this year, there was a very good chance that his career would have been over. But he was put in a very, very tough position in Tampa too, because he had to replace Tom Brady, and the stature and the legend of Tom Brady. And he did an exceptional job this year, and I think his passer rating and some of his numbers in terms of the averages, in terms of the efficiency, were better than that of Brady from last year. So and nobody thought Tampa was going to be in the playoffs, and nobody thought Baker Mayfield was going to lead a team to the playoffs. And it happened to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, who happened to win the division for the 3rd consecutive year and make the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Tremendous job, and I think his play is also a big reason why Dave Canales got a head coaching job, because of the track record of success that he had in terms of an offensive assistant, but I think Baker Mayfield. I was considering Joe Flacco too. I was considering Damar Hamlin. Those are like my 3 main candidates. But Baker Mayfield season was outstanding, and in turn he should get a $30 million plus a year contract from a quarterback needy team like the Bucs this offseason. Great job by Baker Mayfield.
All right, very worthy, guys. So, comeback player of the year. Now we go to coach of the year, and we've got 3 different coaches, all worthy of being named coach of the year. Natale has selected Matt LaFleur for Green Bay. I've selected Dan Campbell from the Lions. And Flynn has D'Amico Ryans from the Texans. Flynn, talk about Ryans.
I mean, D'Amico Ryans was the best hire of all the hires. I mean, outside of Sean Payton, I gave the Texans glowing grades, even though he was a defensive coach. But because the Texans sorely needed a culture change in the worst way possible after the fiasco that Phillips Ryan and the damage he left behind, and Jack Easterby being a clown, and bringing in Lovie Smith and all the others, and he went there, changed the culture, got his guys buttoned up, his guys would play through him. They improved so dramatically, and they want to play, and they in bonus they won a playoff game this year, and the Texans won their division where nobody thought, not one of you thought the Texans were going to be in consideration for the playoffs. But listen, coaching matters, and he gets his guys buttoned up. So that's why I think D'Amico Ryans is my pick for coach of the year.
Natale, you selected Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a coach in each conference, I would have given it to D'Amico for the AFC coach of the year. But we're basing it off as a whole. I have a certain criteria. Yeah, like mine is in order for me to select a coach of the year, you need to perform like beyond expectations, do things that nobody expected you to do. So like I couldn't pick Kyle Shanahan, I couldn't pick Harbaugh because those coaches were always known to be good. So I couldn't pick those teams. I had to pick a dark horse team. Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers comes to mind first. The Packers were basically projected to finish in last place, but they proved everybody wrong. Not only they proved everybody wrong, they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game. LaFleur had a great leadership with that team. He really turned them around. He did things that nobody thought he would do. Yeah, who had Green Bay in the playoffs? No one.
Nope.
He definitely turned that team around, and I would say, yeah, watch out for them next season. I think they might be a legitimate threat.
Yeah, I agree with that. My selection, Dan Campbell. And this actually goes back to probably the halfway point of last season when Detroit had that really big run to try to take the division last year. It came up a little bit short, but I was so impressed with that offense that the Lions had at the last half of last season. And then coming into this season, I think pretty much all of us agreed that the Lions would take the division title, and they are now in a place that they have not been in ages. I mean, I am just, like I said, I am so happy for the Lions fans, the Lions players, the front office, everyone around that franchise has got to be feeling really good right now. My pick for my coach of the year would be Dan Campbell, although I would agree with D'Amico Ryans because he is kind of helping turn that Texans team around, and with C.J. Stroud as the young quarterback that he was and how he played all year long. Like I said, I think better days are coming for Houston. Keep your eye on them in the next couple of years because they make some noise and they may be the kings of the AFC South. And finally, here we have the assistant coach of the year. And once again, all three of us have different choices. Natale picked Ben Johnson from the Lions. I got Bobby Slowick from the Texans. Flynn has Jim Schwartz. So, Natale, you got Ben Johnson for assistant coach of the year.
Yeah, I initially put Scotty Montgomery, but yeah, since he's not on the list, I figured out why not. I would just pivot, stick with the same team, and go with Ben Johnson. Yeah, the Lions did fantastic this year. Him and Dan Campbell seem to be on the same page. They seem to get along with each other. I mean, I don't see any tension between them at all. I think they all seem to be in agreement on everything. Yeah, they did a great job in leading that offense to hopefully their first Super Bowl. Maybe. Let's see.
All right. Flynn, talk to me about Mr. Jim Schwartz in Cleveland.
I mean, first of all, Jim Schwartz was my preseason pick to be the assistant coach of the year, and I knew that because the way he coached and the way he develops the defensive scheme that the Browns as constructed were a great team for him to thrive with and be successful with, and Myles Garrett turned in the best season of his NFL career, and the Browns defense was exceptional for so many different times of the year. They were actually the first team to slow down San Francisco's bolted offense, and it simply and he was going to be incredible for for them because they needed something to maximize the talent of Miles Garrett and you can't waste that. But the Browns have the number one overall the number one total defense in the league. They have the number one pass defense in the league, and there, I think there was they did not have a single quarterback. Or they did not have a single game where they gave them 300 or more passing yards.
All right. My pick was Bobby Slowick, and it kind of goes with D'Amico Ryans and how they've been able to get C.J. Stroud this great, awesome season, the great rookie season that he has. Like I said, Texans, keep your eyes on them. Bobby Slowick, with that offense that he has helped put together with C.J. Stroud, I think they're going to be something in the next couple of years. I'll tip my hat to Ben Johnson and Jim Schwartz. They've done very well for their teams this year. So basically, once again, the NFL honors will be televised on Thursday night, February 8th. That's the February before the Super Bowl. So I'm going to keep this list in my file, and we'll see what happens and maybe do some comparisons during our Super Bowl preview.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll go ahead
and the fantasy awards.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. We decided that we were going to kind of do something a little bit interesting. We were going to do our own fantasy awards, like for the best fantasy players this past season. So let's get the next banner up here. We got the fantasy awards. Now let's go ahead and get that screen up here. Now, Natale and Flynn already have their lists here, as you're about to see. I was kind of late on mine. I just finished my list about an hour before we went on the air here. So I will just go through the list right here, and I'll throw mine in as well. I've got the list. Got it written down right here. I'm sure you won't be able to see much of that. Well, we're starting with fantasy MVP. Natale has got Lamar Jackson. Flynn has Christian McCaffrey. And I too have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're both putting up great numbers all season long. I mean, if I had to pick a AFC player, yeah, I would take Lamar Jackson, but I guess overall, I would go with McCaffrey over Jackson, but not by much.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're averaging 25 points a game in fantasy, for running back and those PPR and even in non-PPR settings, you're getting close to 20 points a game, which is exceptional for any player, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver. If you're a wide receiver, you're gonna have, if you're in a non-PPR league, you probably need to average a touchdown and 130 yards receiving a game. So. So that's why I picked Christian McCaffrey.
We have our list for the fantasy LVP, which is the least valuable player, the one who really underachieved this year. I noticed Natale and Flynn both have Austin Eckler from the San Diego Chargers.
That was an easy choice.
I said that was an easy choice, but my pick for the least valuable player as far as fantasy running backs, well, I had to give it to Tony Pollard.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
After the exit of Ezekiel Elliott, everybody thought that Tony Pollard would put up a little bit better numbers than he did last year, although last year was pretty good. But somehow Tony Pollard just underachieved this year. He did just get a shade over 1,000 yards rushing this season, and he only had one game where he rushed for at least 100 yards. So Tony Pollard is pretty much my least valuable player this year.
Right.
Best quarterback in fantasy. Well, looks like we have you see Natale selected Brock Purdy. Flynn selected Josh Allen. I've selected Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Josh Allen could be questionable. Of course, we know about the turnovers. I mean, when he's bad, he's bad. But when he's good, he's really good.
But I think the thing that gravitated me toward Josh Allen was because of the rushing yards, because of the touchdowns, the rushing touchdowns, which is six fantasy points a game as compared to 4 fantasy points a game for a passing touchdown. But Tim, but in the weekly leaderboards that Josh Allen was so overwhelming, especially when the Bills decided to start running the football with Josh Allen taking over. He was and yeah, Josh Allen was the number 1 quarterback in fantasy, averaging 23.1 points per game in 4-point passing touchdown leagues. He was that good. He actually averaged more than 2 points a game better than the number 2 fantasy quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
All right. So Natale selected Brock Purdy.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me. I was tempted to pick Josh Allen, but because of the interception problem, I decided to pivot to Purdy.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking of the turnover factor from Josh Allen for my pick, so I picked Lamar Jackson as my best quarterback in fantasy this year. Best running back. I see both of you guys selected Christian McCaffrey,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you'll be interested to know that my pick is also Christian McCaffrey. We're pretty much unanimous. I think Flynn is
Flynn, you're on mute. You double tapped.
Oh.
They double tapped again.
That was the easiest pick of them all, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Enough said. He is one bad Bama Jamma.
Mm-hmm.
Best wide receiver in fantasy. Natale picked Tyreek Hill. Flynn actually went with CD Lamb. But I'm sorry, but even though I am a huge Cowboys fan and I love CD Lamb, I had to pick Tyreek Hill as well.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the cheetah. Probably the fastest runner in the whole league, and yeah, he almost broke that record.
He sure did. He almost did. But I ain't gonna sneeze at Flynn's pick for CD Lamb. CD Lamb had a great season.
I think the thing that did it to CD Lamb was that I think going into week 17, Tyreek Hill was like number 1 and CD Lamb was like number 2, but Tyreek Hill had 2 bad games, week 17 and 18, while CD Lamb was just magnificent. Because if you remember the Lions game, I think he had over 200 yards receiving. And then the next game, I think the Washington game, he had I think he had like over 160 yards receiving. So that made CD Lamb the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy this year. Those last 2 games, it was Tyreek Hill comfortably number 1, CD Lamb comfortably number 2 until week 17.
Yeah, not bad.
And a lot of fantasy owners who went to the championship with CD Lamb won their championships because CD Lamb gave them 40 points in fantasy that night.
Yeah.
Because if you remember the first quarter, I think CD Lamb had like a 90-yard touchdown pass, and because I think that was when Dak was scrambling out of the pocket. and everyone thought it was going to be a sack on third down, but yeah, he found a way to find an open CD Lamb. And also, if you remember the first few a couple of weeks of the season, that the Dak to CD Lamb connection was simply not there, and I think it was after really after the San Francisco loss, and more really after their bye week. That's when CD Lamb's season started to explode in a good way.
Yeah, we got some good collections, good selections. I mean, looking at the best tight end in fantasy football, I will agree with you guys with Sam Laporta with the Detroit Lions, but I actually have him for another category. Actually, my selection for the best tight end in fantasy had to go with Travis Kelce from the Chiefs.
I mean, Kelsey was not great the second half of the year, but I think there were like 4, 5, 6 other candidates that I would have picked ahead of Travis Kelce. Which we will dive into that after the Super Bowl when we talk about lessons learned from the NFL season regarding the tight end position. But yeah, there were other tight ends who would be considered ahead of Travis Kelce, like Evan Ingram, like David Njoku,
Mark Andrews, George Kittle.
I mean, you can put Mark Andrews / Isaiah Likely or T.J. Hawkinson before he. I mean, T.J. Hawkinson had a great year before he got hurt. What was it, week 15 or 16? He got hurt, but.
Okay, well, I digress. But I'm not gonna sneeze at Sam Laporta with the best rookie season he had, which of course leads to our next category, the best fantasy rookie. Natale and myself, we both selected Sam Laporta. Flynn, you had another great selection, Puka Nacua from the Rams.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the ESPN fantasy rankings for our league, and give me a second after it loads here. And let me see, and Puka Nacua finished the season as the number. Hold on, I just want to see for a second. Let's see, where did Nacua go? I thought he was. Yeah, Puka Nacua finished as the number 4 wide receiver in fantasy of this season. Only CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Amon-Ra St. Brown ranked ahead of him.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, and Puka Nacua, 105 receptions, 1,486 yards, but both were rookie records that he set. So
very nice. Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta, they have great future days ahead of them. Wish them nothing but the best. The best fantasy comeback player of the year. Well, looks like we have a difference of opinion all the way through here. Natalia selected David Njoku. Flynn had DJ Moore, and I basically went out on a limb for my comeback player. I said Breece Hall from the Jets.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good pick. There are a lot of really good candidates for that. Baker Mayfield, who I put as my NFL comeback player of the year. I didn't realize this. Baker Mayfield finished as the number 10 quarterback in fantasy this year.
Yeah, Breece Hall for the Jets. Yeah, Jets do Jets things, but Breece Hall is probably the best player on that team right there.
I mean, especially how he played down the stretch. I mean, he was simply breathtaking.
Oh yeah, DJ Moore. I think I had him on 1 or 2 of my fantasy leagues, and he put some pretty decent numbers for me all the way. David Njoku, can't sneeze at him. Can't really say nothing bad about Njoku. He's a Pretty good player right here. Best fantasy steal. This is going to be an interesting one. Natale and I has selected Puka Nakua. Flynn took Raheem Mostert, which is another great selection.
Yeah, I basically picked Nakua because I think in majority of the leagues, he probably wasn't drafted right away. He was more so he came off of the waiver wire mostly, and ever since coming off the waiver wire, boom.
Yeah. I mean, once the fantasy owners knew that McVay was going to turn him into another Cooper Cup, that's when they went. That's when they went right to the shops for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Now you can really see the fog, and yeah, it was. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I'd see that fog a little bit better there, Natale.
Yeah, I mean, it's more pronounced now than when we went on about an hour ago.
Right.
But I digress. But yeah, but I think but Raheem Mostert was like he wasn't drafted until later on because we didn't know how Mike McDaniel was going to utilize him. So give him a lot of credit for that, and he had some big games this year.
Oh yeah.
And we had a category for breakout player of the year. Natale and Flynn both went with Lions players, very good players. Jared Goff, quarterback. Then John Flynn selected Jahmyr Gibbs. My breakout player is Kyron Williams, running back from the Rams.
That's a good pick. I said, I think that definitely was the better one. That you made an excellent point. Brilliant point, Tim.
Oh yeah.
Kyron Williams. I think the Rams are slowly but surely starting to get out of that Super Bowl hangover, you want to call it. Slowly starting to get out of that Super Bowl hangover. So
and they were able to do that because of exceptional late round drafting by Les Snead. It's because Kyron Williams and Puka Nakua were the Rams' 5th round picks each of the last 2 years.
Yeah. But of course, I'm not going to sneeze at Jared Goff or Jahmyr Gibbs because of the excellent season that they have had. So that's basically our picks for the best fantasy players that we had this past season. Very interesting there. So
yeah. So should we do our trivia questions?
Yep, yes, I think it's tough trivia time. So you can...
I think before we do that, we should probably give a shout out to your boys, Tim. Before we do that.
You know something?
Yep.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because my boys are on every Wednesday night. So let's show some love to my brothers.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Y'all be sure to check them out. It's Alex, Lucas, and myself. And I just wish Mac was around. He's got a second shift job, but he joins us when he can. Fantasy football. Oh, it's the 4 Horsemen Pick'ems. Wednesday nights, A Pizzle 90 channel. Check it out. And now I think we can now go to the tough trivia.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got 2 questions for you guys tonight.
Yep,
yes.
One from Tim and one from Natale.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, mine is a completely different scope. Mine has nothing to do with playoffs or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
All right. Well, this may be an easy question for you. This has 3 answers. I just want to see if you guys can get all 3 answers. So, question for this week. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We have someone wants to say hello. Who is that? Oh, Mile High Luke, Botanical Extraction. Happy Friday, fellas. Happy Friday to you, buddy. Hey, since you're around, maybe you could try to answer this trivia question that I've got for you.
Yeah,
Here we
but
go.
don't spoil it in the comments for us.
No. You can just make your guesses in the comments, and I'll let you know if you're right or not. So here's the question. As we know, earlier this week, the Chargers made a splash by naming Jim Harbaugh their new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the question. There have been 3 men who have led a college team to a national championship and then lead an NFL team to a Super Bowl. Only 3 men have done that. Can you name all 3 of them?
Ooh, that's a tough one for me. I don't pay attention to college sports. That's gonna be a stumper.
I know 2 of them off the top. Oh, actually, yes, I do know all 3. So I'll give you those answers at the end.
Okay.
All right. Now let's see what Natale's got for us.
Yeah, mine's gonna be kind of a weird one, but I thought this one was kind of interesting. This is something I kind of thought about recently. What is something that you don't see a quarterback do very often? Make a tackle. So, but with that being said, I kind of have an interesting one. Yeah, Joe Webb has the most career tackles by a quarterback with 21 tackles. So I want you guys to give me this. You can give me 2 other quarterbacks that are in the top 10 for tackles. It could be either inactive or inactive. It doesn't matter. I just want 2 quarterbacks in the top 10 for tackles by a quarterback.
Are there active quarterbacks on the list?
There are, let me see. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, there's several.
Oh gosh! All
So,
right.
yeah,
Wow.
you can give me active or inactive. I don't care either way.
Wow.
So,
That
outside of Joe Webb,
Right.
who's number 1,
Right.
I just want 2 other quarterbacks that are in the top 10 for tackles.
Okay, so there's one that comes to mind already. We'll
say that later. Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah. Since Tim answered my question first last time, I'll have Flynn can answer first this time. We'll do that at the end.
Okay.
Since Tim got it right. Since Tim got it out of the gate last time.
Yes, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go to the main event.
Oh yeah.
That's our picks for Championship Sunday. And we start at 3 p.m. Eastern over on CBS. It will be the reigning, defending, undisputed world champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, heading into M&T Bank Stadium to take on the overall number 1 seed in the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens come into this game as 3.5-point favorites. So, Flynn, we'll start with you on this one.
I think when you look at this game, I think you gotta give the Chiefs a lot of credit. This is the 6th consecutive year the Kansas City Chiefs made the AFC Championship game, and this one, mind you, came harder than the others. The Chiefs had a lot of issues, especially offensively, and they had to go on the road, play a true road game for the first time under Patrick Mahomes, and they were able to win. Now, it was a very competitive game. That the Chiefs were able to win because I think some of it had to do with the Bills' mistakes and the poor in-game management. So, but it's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes, but not when you see this Ravens defense and how they play and how they dominate on both sides of the football, and how they're able to Am I still on here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still got you.
I hear you.
Yeah, but not with how the Ravens have played this entire season. They have won 9 games against teams over 500 by 14 or more points. That's the most in NFL history. So they have the number 1 rushing offense. They have the number 1 scoring defense. So they have one of the best offensive lines in football. So they led the league in sacks this year with 60. And the way I feel about this Ravens team, the game is in Baltimore. The ambiance is going to be incredible. The first AFC Championship game to be played in the city of Baltimore since the very first AFC Championship game in 1970 by the Baltimore Colts. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then then you factor in with the eye test. And how they're dominating games, and they've been so exceptional all year. And the Ravens also faced the other 2 teams playing on Championship Sunday, the Lions and the 49ers. They beat the Lions earlier this year by more than 30 points, and then they beat the 49ers on the road by 14 points. So, but look, Ravens are the best team I saw all year. I think it is going to be a classic. I think Mahomes is going to keep them in with Kelsey and all that. But I think the Ravens are going to win the game because they're the better team with the better defense. Give me the Ravens to win a classic, 23-17 over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Very nice pick. Very nice pick. Natale, your thoughts?
Yeah, this one was a bit of a tough one. Like, this can go either way. But yeah, prior to me, no, actually after I made my prediction on this game, I came across a very interesting graphic. I sent it to you guys in the chat. I mean, unless Tim, you want to talk about it, or you just want me to bring it up? Remember that graphic I sent about with Josh Allen and the Bills?
I think I mentioned that this past Wednesday night on the 4 Horsemen of Pick'em show, but for those of you who did not tune into that, Natale, why don't you go ahead and explain it to our audience?
Sure. Let me just log in here and I'll pull it up.
And I will conveniently put you on the solo layout so we can get a better shot.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I gotta look for it. Yeah, this is a very interesting graphic. Let me see if I forgot which chat I sent it in. I think it was this one. Let me see here. That's not it. Okay, here it is. This was a very interesting graphic I came across. It says, whenever whoever beats Josh Allen in the playoffs always loses their next playoff game. It's never failed. Here was a graphic. It dates back to 2020. The Bills beat the Texans in 2020, but then they subsequently lost to the Chiefs. Oh, no, sorry. Wait a minute. Scratch that. Sorry. I got it the other way around. The Texans beat the Bills in 2020 and subsequently lost to the Chiefs. In 2021, the Chiefs defeated the Bills. And they subsequently lost to the Bucs. 2022. Chiefs beat the Bills again. Next game, they lose to the Bengals. 2023. Bills lose to, I think it's the Chiefs. I can't tell from here. Picture's a little bit too far away. But yeah. But then guess what? They subsequently lose to the Bengals. So there you have it. That's 4 consecutive years the Josh Allen curse has lived on. Now, I don't know if that's just an eerie coincidence or what, but that's pretty freaky to think about. But like I said, I made my prediction prior to seeing this, so this has absolutely no impact on me whatsoever. I just thought it was rather interesting. Yeah, I thought about this game long and hard, and I wanted to pick a team I think that looks slightly better on paper right now. With everybody healthy, taking everything into account, I think the Ravens are going to win this game, but I do have the Chiefs covering the points here. It's going to be a very close game. I'm going to take a late field goal by Justin Tucker. Give me the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl by a score of 30-27. Oh, and let me show the graphic. That way you guys can see that. And yeah.
Yeah, I was using that graphic. I was using that when I was explaining to Natale and when I was explaining it to Alex and Lucas this past Wednesday night.
Yeah, I was there. I was in the audience.
Yeah, you was. So yeah, I did that too. What was it here?
But now the question is, does Tim think the curse is going to end?
Come on that. Come on, here. Chiefs only lost that game because of an offsides by D Ford. Oh yeah, we know about that. Yeah.
But now the question is, does Tim think the curse ends, or does it continue? I mean, I already know the answer, but I'm going to keep quiet because I was there for the show, so I'm keeping quiet here. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I see this as a big knockdown, drag-out fight, just like the Chiefs-Bills game last week. It's going to come down to a late field goal. But that late field goal will not be kicked by Justin Tucker. It will be by Harrison Butker. I am taking the Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl. They will punch their ticket to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Give me the Chiefs, 36-33.
Can we say upset alert?
Oh.
That's an upset, I think.
Yeah, that does count as an upset special.
I think that qualifies. So we got 2 for the Ravens, 1 for the Chiefs. Will be a very interesting game. I think it's probably going to be a slightly better game than the one that's going to be coming up at 4:30 Eastern. 6:30 Eastern on Fox, as it will be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. The Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers are coming in at 7-point favorites. Natalie, I want to let you start off this one. What do you think?
Oh yeah, this one's a really tough one too. This one could actually go either way. 49ers may have a slight advantage right now with maybe Deebo Samuel returning, but even while the injury was going on, that had no impact on my selection whatsoever. The Lions look pretty good too, which makes this choice really tough. Man, the Lions have never gone to a Super Bowl. This is their first conference championship since 1991. So all the pressure is really on them here. They have so much to play for. I gave this so much thought. When I constructed my playoff bracket when the playoffs began, I actually had this as my conference championship with the 49ers winning. But after really doing some digging, I am feeling really bold. I have a change of heart here. I have a feeling this is a Cinderella story. I think the Lions are going to win this game. I don't know why. I got to believe in this underdog here. I don't know. I'm just going to take the Lions to win this one. I'm just going to play battle of the defense here. Give me 28-27.
Wow.
So yeah, that means I have the Lions and the Ravens scoring off in the Super Bowl.
Because I know Natale knows Tim's pick because he was in the audience in there. So
I'm keeping quiet.
Yep. All right, Timmy.
Yeah, well, Detroit has had a very, very, very excellent season. A season that we have not seen in so many years. Sam Laporta is going to be a huge tight end for them in the following years. I mean, he is going to shine, and Jared Goff has just been excellent. I mean, like I said, for the last year and a half, the Detroit Lions have been the surprise story of the NFL. But I guess, as we have said, the 49ers are the best team in the NFL until proven otherwise. They've proven it against so many great teams. And so for that reason, I'm going to make Detroit my point spread pick. I believe they will cover, but I've got the 49ers going to Las Vegas. I'm taking the Niners 41-37. Niners with the win, but the Lions with the points.
Alrighty, so yeah, Tim's got 49ers versus the Chiefs. So, and I have the complete opposite. I have Lions versus Ravens. So now let's see what Flynn has to say.
All we got to figure out is which way Flynn is going.
Yeah, I'm taking San Francisco to win. I'm taking San Francisco to cover. The one pause I have with this game is the safety play for San Francisco because Talanoa Hufanga, who was the first team All-Pro at the safety last year towards ACL early on in Week 12. Which hasn't come back to bite the 49ers in the butt yet. But that was the one period of concern I had going into this. And also, I wasn't really concerned about the health of Deebo Samuel. But by the way, Deebo Samuel is playing on Championship Sunday, hence why another reason why I'm picking the 49ers to win. Look, the 49ers did not play their best game against a well-coached football team. They had their B-, C+ game, and yet they found a way to win. They won the game. That's all that matters in the playoffs, and they're in Championship Sunday. And what else happened on Divisional Weekend? It was raining. Brock Purdy did not have Deebo Samuel for most of that game. It felt wobbly, felt limited. That they felt reliant on McCaffrey. And yet Purdy, when it mattered the most, found a way to win and lead his team to victory. But it's going to be 70 degrees. It's going to be clear. It's going to be fair skies. That this is perfect football weather for Brock Purdy. And I think having Deebo Samuel back is and healthy is a big sign. So I think you're gonna have a big game from Christian McCaffrey. I think you're gonna have a big game from Deebo Samuel. I think you're gonna have a big game from George Kittle. And I think seeing the way the Lions secondary played against the Rams and the Bucks, not necessarily. I think they're great teams in general, but the Lions gave up over 400 yards of offense to both the Rams and the Bucks each of the last 2 weeks, and I think they're licking their chops against them, seeing. You have to think that's what Kyle Shanahan saw when watching them play on Sunday. So, yeah, you have that in mind, but I feel like the Lions are a year away. I think the Lions need a legit number one corner, where I don't think they have that, which is a problem when you're going up against Deebo and Ayuk. And Jared Goff is going to be facing a lot of pressure because the 49ers constructed their defensive line to win a game like this against the Lions offensive line with Nick Bosa, with Chase Young, with Eric Armstead, with all those guys going after the quarterback. So and I think the 49ers were a 1 seed for a reason. And it's because of how brilliantly coached they are by Shanahan, and I think that will lead them to victory on Championship Sunday. So Niners 34, Lions 24 is my pick for the NFC Championship game. So we'll have the Niners and the Ravens in the Super Bowl if my predictions hold up. So I'm in the majority for both. So we'll see what happens on Championship Sunday.
Oh, I also wanted to bring this up. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. I don't know. Would you guys call this like a conspiracy or just a freaky coincidence? I saw a graphic recently. It was different photographs of the Super Bowl logo, and the color that it pointed to kind of represented which team was playing. That's kind of been going on for several years now. What do you guys think? An eerie coincidence or some type of conspiracy? Because the latest design had some red and purple representing the Niners and the Ravens. I don't know. What do you guys think? Conspiracy? Just a freaky coincidence? What do you guys think about that?
And so, I mean, it could be both. It could also be maybe be that last year the Chiefs and the Eagles were the two best teams in the NFL all last season, and that's why I think for this season that the Ravens and the 49ers to me were the two best teams I saw all year, and which is kind of the Super Bowl I'm rooting for because of that. Now, I did pick Kansas City and San Francisco as my Super Bowl matchup preseason, but that wouldn't surprise me, especially with the Taylor Swift effect in the NFL this year. Because imagine what I have a feeling the ratings for the AFC Championship game are going to be through the roof. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Tim, you got any thoughts, Tim? Because I remember, when you look at the logo last year, the drawing of the logo kind of represented the Bengals and the Rams, who both made the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't think of anything of it. I would think it's just coincidence. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go too far fetched into this whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So that's basically what we think about our games. And now I got to know what you think about the questions that we had for our trivia segment here. Once again.
It's can we answer Natale's first? Because I think that's the trickier one.
Yeah, that's kind of gonna be kind of
I just glanced again. There's a bunch of players tied with certain ones, so you guys have a lot of leeway here. Lots of leeway. So we'll go back here. Like I said, since Tim answered first last week on mine, Flynn, you'll answer first this time. Tim got it straight away. So Joe Webb has made the most career tackles by a quarterback with 21 tackles. So my question is, name two quarterbacks that are also with him in the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like this was more of a longevity question, so I'm gonna go. And also guys that throw interceptions, so I'm gonna say Eli Manning and Brett Favre as my two picks.
Remember this is for tackles.
Yeah, right? I'm saying picks for the answer.
Yeah.
To the question.
Huh?
He's going with.
But I want to make sure you understood my question correctly. I'm saying, the 10 quarterbacks with the most tackles.
Yes. So my two choices for that to answer that question are Eli Manning and Brett Favre.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Tim.
I say Brett Favre and Josh Allen.
Okay. Let's see. That's fine. I just want to type in one thing. I just want to check something. Career. Let's see. One of these names is not on the list, so I just want to see something here. Career tackles. Okay. 1 second here. Okay. Let's see. Said Josh Allen. And I thought these names were on the list. Let me check.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going through something here. I thought one of you had a name. I guess not. Okay. Yeah. Believe it or not, neither one of you got any players in the top 10.
What?
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be a tough one.
Yeah, but Flynn, you actually came pretty close. You picked the wrong Manning.
Oh,
it was Peyton Manning. You had the wrong Manning. You were close. Let me see. I thought. But let's see. Brett Favre had 6 career tackles. I'm going to check Josh Allen now. Let's see. Josh Allen. How many career? Yeah, I'm not seeing any stats for Josh Allen getting tackles.
So
Never
zero.
mind. Oh, you were so close, Tim. Josh Allen had 8 tackles. The one who's 10th has 9. You were very close, Tim, on one of yours. You were extremely close. Let's see. All right, so here's some players here. So the next closest to Webb is actually Carson Palmer. He had 20 tackles.
Ooh,
And then your active player on the list. Oh, actually, no, wait. I'll give you guys a redemption. Each of you name me one. Oh, actually, no. Flynn didn't name me any active quarterbacks. So I'll give each of you guys a redemption. One active quarterback. Go ahead, Flynn.
Oh, so who is the longest? Who is one of the longest tenured quarterbacks in the league? Oh shoot. Oh, Joe Flacco.
Let's see. I think he's on there. He is on there. He's towards the back end. Let's see. He has 12. Flacco's got 12.
I'm going to take a guess and say Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield is not in the top 10. So let's see. I'll give you guys the rest of this here. Let's see. The highest active player, actually, Ryan Tannehill. Even though he's not with the team currently, he's still active in the sense.
Right.
He has 18. And then you have a 3-way tie. Russell Wilson, Alex Smith, and Drew Brees each have 16 tackles. Oh, sorry. And also Hasselbeck. I believe that's Matt Hasselbeck. Yep, Matt Hasselbeck. And then, although he's not technically a quarterback per se, Taysom Hill is on that list. He's got 14, as well as Andy Dalton, Matthew Stafford, and Tom Brady. And then you got John Kitna with 13. Donovan McNabb also has 13. And then the one that Flynn mentioned, Joe Flacco, he's tied with Carson Wentz and Jay Cutler. And then you got Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, and Phillip Rivers, and somebody named Brooks, each with 11. Who's Brooks? Oh, Aaron Brooks. I never heard of him. And then you got 4 people tied with 10. That's Winston, Roethlisberger, Culpepper, and Plummer. And then rounding out the top 10 with the 3-way tie, Matt Castle, Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. They have 9. You guys came fairly close. The only thing I just don't see anything for Josh Allen. I don't think he has any.
Well, considering all those turnovers and those interceptions he's thrown, I was thinking maybe, but very, very intriguing question, Natale. I commend you for that. I commend you.
I didn't think it was going to be that tough, honestly. I thought you guys were going to get them for some reason.
It was very tough. But my question is probably not going to be that tough. As I said earlier, Jim Harbaugh has just signed as head coach for the Chargers. There has been only 3 men to win a national championship with the college team and then win a Super Bowl with an NFL team. Can you name all 3 of those men?
Yeah, I'm deferring this to Flynn because I don't follow college sports at all. I mean, the only name I could think of is Pete Carroll, but I doubt I'm right on that.
Yeah. Pete Carroll is one of them because I think he won one with USC, and then
okay, I'll take it then.
I'm thinking, what was that? Was that one vacated, or I think it was the 05 season that was vacated? But with the Reggie Bush NIL violations at that point. But I know Pete Carroll was one. The other 2 were Barry Switzer and Jimmy Johnson.
Flynn's got it right on the nose.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Flynn's got it right on the nose, so he can start celebrating.
That was an easy one, Tim.
Yeah, I guess I gotta think of something better for for our next show.
So it's got to be Super Bowl trivia because we are off next week.
That's right.
Yes, we are going to take next week off so we can gather our thoughts and get prepared for the big showdown, which will take place at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, February 11th, 2024. But of course, we still have our conference championship games this Sunday to go through. So, so I guess with that, we'll just go ahead and close the book here on Fantasy Football Fever. Y'all be sure to search your favorite podcast sites and be sure to listen to Hooked on Sports with John Flynn right here. Always a great show, always a great listen. Think you're going to find it interesting. So look for Hooked on Sports with John Flynn. And of course, you can look for me. I think this coming Wednesday, where you have a special Four Horsemen show. We have like a best of clip. I think we got a gag reel coming up. So that's going to be kind of enjoyable, little lighthearted stuff. We, of course, will be off next week. We will be back to reconvene.
2 weeks from tonight.
On February 9th. Mark your calendars. February 9th, we will be back here to recap Conference Championship Sunday and to preview Super Bowl 58. So, any parting shots, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to these games. Yeah, both of these are very intriguing. Yeah. Probably one of these teams we wouldn't even imagine making a conference championship, but yet here they are.
Yeah, well, Flynn.
So I think these were the four best teams in football all year, and I think justice prevailed this year. I mean, because with all the craziness in the NFL, in terms of all the crazy wins, the losses, the underachievements, the overachievements, the crazy things. I think we're in for a treat this weekend, and I think I want to see the best teams win, and the four best teams in football won last week, and it's going to be incredible watching them on Championship Sunday.
It will be definitely an incredible Sunday indeed. Once again, Chiefs at Ravens, 3 Eastern. Then you got the Lions and the 49ers, 6:30 Eastern. I'll be sure to tune in your channels and look for us next 2 weeks from tonight. We'll get everything ready for the Super Bowl. So, on behalf of my good buddies, John Natale and John Flynn, my name is Tim McClellan. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the great action this weekend. Have a great week. God bless you guys. And as always, be a good sport. See ya.